story before you acted in it?
I did.
You did?
I did.
And on purpose because you knew you were going to be in it, or you just happened to read it first?
I just wanted a lot more, backstory, because all the way through until the third novel, there's flashbacks to earlier in the marriage and, things that, some of the trials and tribulations that were early on in the marriage and, trying to get pregnant and several miscarriages before having their one and only son. And it just kind of heightens the, and intensifies, the relationship and what you're leaving behind and what Kelly's walking away from.
Well, now, to set this up, tell us a little bit about your character. Tell us about, as well, I guess, how you got involved. What happened there? In terms of...
My agent calls and says, be at this address for this time, and here's 4 pages.
And did you know, like...
And you read the 4 pages. And initially, I read the scene, and it kind of could read as a comedy. Like, Corey Stoll's character, Ephraim Goodweather, has some funny zingers and some good little jabs at my new boyfriend. And but then again, knowing that Guillermo del Toro's behind it, I thought, let me research this project a little more, because clearly, not to say that there isn't room for humor,
right.
Once I saw that it was based on a trilogy of books and dealing with an outbreak and vampires, I saw that there's a much darker tone, and got a call back with none other than the man himself and Carlton Hughes. And before I even could think about being nervous, it was warm hugs and put me at ease, and was the friendliest, most generous person I've ever been in the room with. And not only as a person, but as a director. He's the most specific director I've ever worked with. Exactly what he wants. He knows what he wants, but he's also very open to collaboration and to, working things through on the day. He's not precious about his writing, but just such a genius, and his energy is infectious, so you just want to do everything you can to help bring his vision to life, and it was a thrilling ride to be a part of it.
So then, in terms of the character, tell us a little bit about her, and what did you glean from the books that maybe gave you insight into kind of how you're playing her?
So Kelly Goodweather plays the soon-to-be ex-wife of the lead, Ephraim Goodweather, played by Corey Stoll. And, she's walking away from a great man, but not such a great husband. And as much as he loves his son, the demands of his job really took him away from being able to provide as a husband and a father, both emotionally and physically. And also the demands of the job. He had taken up alcohol and, had already gone through AA, and had stopped drinking. But Kelly Goodweather is a much more practical woman, sensible, and just is looking for more stability in her home life for the sake of her son. So she's doing one of the hardest things, and one of the hardest things on a child, which is divorce, but ultimately has her son's best interest in mind.
And when you read about her, what did you think you needed to bring out in the performance and bring her to screen?
A certain sense of practicality,
right.
And there's a fearfulness about her too. In the books, she's a germaphobe and is the first to have a survival kit under the bed and want to run for the hills. And yet, in the face of a viral outbreak, we never know how we're actually going to react in a crisis until the situation presents itself.
Right.
And she has some tough decisions ahead of her, because there's also a variety of things that are at play. Is the media giving us the whole story?
Right.
Is it just my disgruntled ex-husband who's suggesting that I run? Do I really just want things to be normal for my son and not disrupt the schedule? And her new boyfriend that we meet in the pilot, played by Drew Nelson, he's the regional manager at Sears. And he's, the opposite of everything that, the head epidemiologist who runs the Center of Disease Control is. But that's what she's looking for, is stability. Unfortunately, her timing might not be the best. You don't want to be separating yourself from the one man who could save us all.
Well, I think it's interesting that, talking to Guillermo about the disease factor and, how he went into the whole real-world kind of concept of essentially what the story is about, that we know it's vampires, essentially, kind of.
There's elements of vampirism, but essentially these are everyday humans that are dealing with a viral outbreak.
Right.
So it's very biological, and we really discover the virus through the eyes of investigators and doctors and everyday New Yorkers, and I feel like it's really the human response to, it's like everyday people dealing with extraordinary circumstances. I mean, that's what we do as actors all day long, is try to play ordinary people dealing with extraordinary circumstances, and that's exactly what the pilot is all about.
Well, it's so refreshing that he's taking this kind of topic can be presented in many ways, and it seems very refreshing the way he's tackling it.
Refreshing.
Yeah, refreshing and horrifying.
It's refreshing and horrifying all at the same time. Yes, he is here to set the record straight. There is not a lot of room for vampire romance in his retelling of the story.
Well, I love that he was talking about, he did a panel just a while ago, and he was talking about the fact that, he was told to go all out, to be full-on glamour. So what was that like as an actor on set with him and, this kind of story? Do you get to see lots of awesomely gory stuff?
Not as Kelly,
No.
Certainly not in the beginning. Again, she's at home, she's at school, she's going to therapy, she's in the therapist's office. So the audience is a few steps ahead of what's going on ahead of Kelly. But his genius and his imagination, it's in one hand so childlike, but also so infectious. He gets really excited about these things, and it really is infectious, and you don't shy away from going into the darker corners of storytelling with him. And as the series progresses as well, I really think that everybody will easily jump on board with that as well. So things that you might think are not for you, or too dark, or too scary. I mean, I didn't think I was a fan of horror, but when you see it told this particular way, and told with such a great cast of actors and such great writing and brilliantly directed, you can't help but get on board.
Right. So what was it like working with that cast? Any stories you can share about the cast?
Well, there was one particular day where I did have a scene with Corey, and in between takes there were little whispers of like, "Congratulations, hey man, that's great, I'm so happy to hear that, sounds awesome, man." And I'm just like, I kind of think I know what that is, but I just need to focus on the task at hand, and that is divorce this man. You are over this, but I know you just got nominated for a Golden Globe, and I'm just going to put that out of my mind. But yeah, I mean, he's just a very down-to-earth actor who's just supremely talented and generous, and there's no airs about anyone. And I actually wish that there was more opportunities to work with some of the other actors, because there's such a great cast. And Kevin Durant is a fantastic actor, also from Northern Ontario. And Mia Maestro, I just adore. She's such a beautiful woman, and so I look forward to the opportunity for perhaps our characters to intersect.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, I certainly am curious to see, as someone who doesn't know what's going on, I can't wait to see kind of where things are headed. Mm-hmm. Did you, when you're approaching this and you're talking to the public, I mean, well, the press at least, people are asking both sides the
I have so much I want to talk about that I can't.
Well, that's what I mean.
So I'm sort of asking, can we maybe do like a mid-season junket, a little later in this season, and we can really talk about things?
Well, it's always easier like second season, because you can talk about everything that happened.
Right.
A lot more dirt.
Like at this point, everything's a spoiler.
Right. Exactly.
So it's really difficult, but let me just say that I'm so excited. I've seen the pilot, and I'd already read the script. I already know what's going to happen, and I was still on the edge of my seat. So I really can't wait for everybody to see what's in store for you.
Have you talked to more press who've actually read the book as opposed to who haven't? Or?
Some, yeah. A lot of the websites and fan sites, and those guys are genre guys. They've read the books. They've read the graphic novels. And so it was a little bit more fun to chat about certain things, but again, they can't reveal anything that we're talking about until a later date. So you're just going to have to tune in.
All right.
Sunday nights, 10 p.m. What else, what better thing could you possibly want to do than at the end of an amazing weekend, curl up on the couch at 10 p.m. this Sunday night and tune into the most exciting, gripping, thrilling tale you've seen on television today.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Me too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good summer.
I can't wait. I'm so excited for you.